On today's DNVR Nuggets podcast, we're going to look at all the guards in the Western Conference and ask, who is a better defensive matchup, Christian Braun or KCP? Plus, can Trey Alexander get on the court this year? What is the path to him being on? We'll discuss all of that and more on today's DNVR Nuggets podcast. Baby, you know you're excited whenever we're talking before the show begins.
Oh, man. Lots of talk. Lots of chatter.
A little bit of chatter. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the NBA show.
Let's go.
You know what?
There's no air
He's got to be here.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like it's like if you got if you're like a little one-trick pony.
That's so true.
You got to be here to do the trick.
We are, of course, live.
You call him a one-trick pony?
Hey,
no vote.
He's not gonna. Yeah, vote. He's not gonna watch any of these episodes.
Oh,
We're
I know.
safe.
I
we're
know.
fine.
Listen.
We are in the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. We welcome everybody into the Toyota chat. Keep it friendly, everybody. Tell Cedric to keep it piped down a little bit if you can. This is the trio we're going to have for a while over here. Yeah. Harrison Wynn.
Some are calling it the new big three.
Many are.
I'm cool with it. I support it, co-sign it. So, happy to be here.
I like to think of us as the big baller brand. You know what I mean?
Triple B's.
Triple B's up in the house.
We got Lonzo, LaMelo,
that was
and
the
then
time.
that one nobody can remember.
Adam Marbez. Me, Beeline.
Rounding out the show with the awful jokes. It's D-Line Co.
That's right, guys. I'm here for the awful jokes and the zero preparation before any show ever.
We're talking about the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, you're actually prepped.
Locked in.
Yeah, you're locked in.
Maybe a little Broncos talk. I don't know.
Locked in.
That's been filtering into the podcast recently.
Today, I don't think. But nice shoes there, D-Line.
They're autumnal.
They are autumnal. They are very autumnal, man. Usually we do a little banter. We kind of warm up light, but you know what? Not today, fellas. We're getting straight to business.
Let's roll up our sleeves.
That was small banter.
That was pre-banter.
I want to get into some numbers here. Because I got a buddy over at Second Spectrum. I'm not trying to name drop again.
My God, dude.
I'm not trying to name drop all your
God,
friends.
dude.
That's not what's going on here, Cale. But reaches out the other day, so I've been listening to the pod, and I was doing some research, and I remember you mentioning that Christian Braun guarded Anthony Edwards a lot better than KCP, and so I had to look up and kind of find some of the details here.
Second Spectrum has an eye test?
And what do you know against Ant this last season on direct? But direct scoring is when you were matched up with them, trying to get a stop. KCP gave up 1.173 points per direct, and Ant's effective field goal percentage was 60%. But Christian Braun versus Ant, 1.0 points per direct, and Ant's effective field goal percentage was 40% on 56 direct touches. So it's a decent sample size. Actually, those numbers, Kale, that you put up were actually from last year. This year, not enough numbers from CB guarding Anthony Edwards. So this was last year's round one matchup, not the
championship year.
The championship year.
Okay.
Actually, I'm sorry, that's not true. That's not so true. Kale did it correctly. I apologize, Kale. Go ahead, hop in. You can go ahead and do it. You got it right.
Whenever these type of things happen, I'm always just using exactly the numbers that Adam sends me. Because I get shit for this a lot. I am literally copy-pasting.
Real copy-paste job.
We should have had some more banter
I know, dude.
before that.
You want to have some banter about the decay of this show?
Anyway, if you go back even a year, you could see that KCP versus Ant gave up 1.293 points per direct, and Ant's effective field goal percentage was 67%. And against Devin Booker is 1.209, effective field goal percentage of 60%. So in both cases, absolutely getting torched. Christian Braun, on the other hand, not the case. What do you make of that number?
I buy it, and I believe it, because I think, look, both KCP and Christian Braun, I think, are elite-level defenders. I just think they both have their specialties in terms of guys they're better at guarding.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards is a big dude. Like, he is strong. He is powerful. He's physical. Christian Braun's a much better matchup on those types of guys than, KCP, who's much more wiry and nimble and quick.
Yeah, man. Just to bring it back to, I think, what we're all thinking about, NFL football. It's like when you have Ant is a tight end. He's Travis Kelce. And a lot of cornerbacks
Or like maybe a DK Metcalf.
a lot of cornerbacks have a lot of difficulty on a big body like that because they are smaller, faster, more wiry. KCP is rangy and plays angles really well. He gets in passing lanes. Like his defense, to me, always would stand out through steals more than anything.
Passing lanes,
Exactly.
getting around screens.
So he's
that kind
savvy,
of
but
thing.
it's like really like you can just get blown up by a bigger guy, and that is clearly what happened. Stats be damned, like we just all watched it happen. Like it's good to know that the stats back up the eye test, but it was just like it was a problem. It was a legitimate problem, and I do feel like especially in this era of NFL football, we have two white cornerbacks. Why not have Christian Braun represent them in the NBA? We've got Cooper DeJean,
you've gone a little
and
too
we've
far.
got Cooper DeJean, and we've got Riley Moss.
You've gone too far.
No, I'm not. Jason Sehorn, where are you at?
Can I tell you something? Great comp, by the way, DK Metcalf. That's exactly right. You did some great football, basketball crossover
Well, I mean,
analysis.
wide receiver more the
No, he
content
did,
than a tight
he did
end.
classic
Really?
white guy for white guy, black
He
guy
did
for
a
black
great,
guy.
I just am saying it was a great comp by win. I didn't, you had
Jason
some
Kelce,
some
or
weird
Travis
comps
Kelce,
out
like,
there.
who is
what's
that?
going on? But I agree with you guys. There's clearly the physicality part of this is real, but I think it's actually deeper than that. KCP, I think, is more about screen navigation, and I think Christian Braun is better at isolation defense, like just on-ball scoring. And the reason I say that is Devin Booker's not big.
No.
I mean, he's a little big, but he's not like what you're talking about. And yet, we look at KCP, 1.209 points on direct. He, too, was getting cooked by Devin Booker. So that's why I think it's actually there's a chance, and I'm just putting this out there. There's a chance that Christian Braun is in aggregate a better defender because I agree that it's different types, but it might be that actually what you gain in the on-ball just blocking him down makes up for whatever he's deficient in screen navigation.
I was just going to say, I think that yes. You just took every ounce of air out of my sentence.
Damn it, I'm sorry.
It's just that KCP is an expert at screen navigation, just like an absolute elite screen navigator. He really gets through everything, which is why he is such a impressive defender oftentimes. And I don't think Christian Braun is as good at screen navigation. So this is gonna, you said this, I just had to make it longer. So because I was thinking it. Damn it.
I just remember when the Nuggets drafted Christian Braun, they loved his size. 6'6", that's taller than KCP.
Yeah.
And he's probably stronger too, just in terms of his like upper body and core strength and whatnot. He has such good size at the 2 guard, and that's why it sucked, over the last couple of years when they've had to slide him down to the 3 with some of those bench units. Christian Braun's best position is the 2.
Yeah.
He is a 2. He is a shooting guard. He has perfect size, great size for that, and moving up into that shooting guard position, it's going to create some better matchups for the Nuggets defensively.
So Jay in the chat says, now do the same with Kyrie. Like you guys say, it's all about matchups. Well, guess what? That's exactly what we're about to do. That's the show here at segment 1. So we start. Do you have the Doc Kale ready to pull up? Anthony Edwards, better defender. We kind of all agree it's Christian Braun.
Hold on. Did you copy and paste Adam's direct numbers in this before we go to the next slide?
Kale, don't screw this up, dude.
No numbers in this one, just pictures.
All right, don't screw it
I'd
up.
say it's Christian Braun.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree, Christian Braun. There's okay. Did you see the Doc has the thing where you lighten one out now and then it picks?
No, I did not see that.
Well, now we see how it works. De'Aaron Fox.
That would be a KCP.
I would think that might be KCP too.
Here's the thing. Are we sure? There is a lot of pick and roll, dribble, handoff game. De'Aaron Fox is really quick, so that's kind of what you're getting at here. But it is also a little bit more of just staying in front. Like, shut down De'Aaron Fox. It's a lot about staying in front of him.
Definitely.
And that is Christian Braun's skill set. I think this one's a little closer, actually.
Really? I mean, I would pick KCP 100 out of 100 times. But it's not. It doesn't mean that Christian Braun's completely unable to do anything against him. It's just if I was given the one choice.
De'Aaron Fox, a guy that we feel KCP has shut down traditionally?
I mean, no.
The only guy that I feel like I remember KCP having great matchups against is Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Just because
He's the archetype.
We've focused in on that matchup so much, and KCP has had some unbelievable defensive games. I don't honestly know if I remember him against like any other guy in particular.
38-8 plus 14, 15-10-5 plus 26, 26 and 16 assists, and a plus 22 in his 3 matchups against Denver last year.
But that's tough, though, because a lot of it's just Jamal.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Like, Jamal draws the and they switch
They switch
want
him
Jamal
onto him a lot.
because he just, like, Swipa kills us every time through speed. Every time. He breaks down our point of attack defense every time. It's so irritating. But I do think a lot of that is Jamal.
I'm going to go against the grain, and I'm going to say I think KCP might actually be the better defender for this specific one because, again, it's less about the speed, and it's more to me about the style of how they score.
So hold on.
You think it's Christian Braun?
I think it's Christian Braun. What did
I
say?
think it's KCP.
All right, and you think KCP. All right, there you go. Next on our list, Steph Curry.
Yeah, we just
This
Harrison
KCP.
This one to me is a clear KCP.
I don't know if there are many better defenders on Steph Curry than KCP.
Ask Draymond Green.
My favorite
tell
part
you.
about this graphic is that when Christian Braun was removed, you realize that KCP is just pointing at his head. Like tickling him.
We all agree on this one. I think it's obvious. James Harden.
Oh my God. He's not as quick as he used
More
to be.
physical, stronger, a little bigger. I'd probably go Christian Braun.
I think he likes screens a lot. I don't think he likes to drive that much anymore.
But he likes ball screens,
loves
which are a little
ISO
different.
lot, yeah.
Steph is like off-ball screen
Yeah.
navigation, which is what KCP's real
Harden
specialty
plays
is.
a little slower pace, slower
I mean,
speed.
I kind of think this is either you couldn't go wrong with this answer.
I think Christian Braun. I think it's another big-bodied guy that I would probably go Christian.
But he's big bodied in that, like, he's like.
Harden he's like Luka. He tries to always get his separation
No,
physically.
I know, but like you don't think about him as like physical. You just think about him as like
I do.
protesting by being out of shape.
I think of him as physical. I think he uses his weight. So for me, play it along in the chat, by the way. Harden, I'm curious what people are saying.
I agree. CB.
Chris Paul. And think about Chris Paul specifically within the pick and roll with Wembanyama, within that context.
I choose the year 2024 as the best defender against Chris Paul.
Man, that's a good.
I mean, it's
That dude's
possible,
not quick anymore.
It's possible Denver matches up in a playoffs with San Antonio. I mean, I'm not counting on it, but you never know.
Another one.
I would go KCP, just because I feel like as a veteran, he's probably seen more of the tricks,
I agree.
and
Yeah,
he's more
for
ready
sure.
for those,
That's a good
Chris
point.
Paul cheap shots.
That's a good point.
I think it's KCP in this example as well. Devin Booker. Well, we just saw that KCP got cooked. Yeah. He did start to full court pressure him, though, and found a little something.
Do we have
Yeah.
stats on Christian Braun?
We don't have it on him. I mean, he didn't guard him, I don't think, very much.
It's hard to say, but it does seem like more like the type of player that Christian Braun would be able to guard. I mean,
I
especially
feel like with Devin Booker, you've got to have some physicality to your defense in
Yeah.
that matchup. Like, you can't let
Yeah.
Devin Booker get to his spot
No.
every time.
Uh-uh.
Because if he does, then it's over. Like, he is so elite at, one dribble, I'm going to get right there and rise up. Like, 2 dribbles baseline. You've got to have some physicality in your defense, I think, there. So maybe it's Christian Braun.
I think it's Christian Braun, too, but I'm not sure I think it's great for
Yeah.
either one. I think this is a tough one for both. Ja Morant.
KCP.
Probably KCP. Yeah.
KCP. They're like body doubles.
I mean, Josh so fast. I'm not sure either of them. I'll go with you guys again, KCP. But I think this is another one that's like just a bad matchup for Denver, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Oh man. I mean, we don't have a good one. It's not Aaron Gordon. We found that out. I mean,
The problem with CB in this matchup is he might not be long enough.
Exactly,
He's
yeah.
6'6", but the negative wingspan
Is it
hurts him a
possible
little.
if you played OKC that he would guard Jalen Williams and Peyton Watson would guard
possible.
Maybe.
Shai?
Oh, that's right. It was Peyton Watson that actually got cooked by Shea that when they won the game that we were at.
Yeah.
And yeah, because all of Shea's jump shots are fadeaways.
Yeah.
And like the length actually, even though you're saying it hurts to not have it, it doesn't actually help to have it either. So he's just a tough matchup. Like the way that he plays is slow and he deliberate, and you can't block his shot because he's fading away every single time.
Do you have a feeling here one way or another, Wind?
No, I feel like they're
Both getting cooked?
exactly the same. Yeah.
They're both getting cooked. I'll go Yeah, I guess that's it.
No matchup.
CJ McCollum. He runs off of a lot of screens.
Yeah, I'd probably go KCP.
Yeah, so would
He's
I.
smaller,
Yeah. I think
more
this one,
crafty.
this one might be right, just because CJ McCollum is like, remember Torrey Craig getting cooked by him? Like sometimes he's like Devin Booker. He's like a C level Devin Booker, and that
Yeah.
he's good at getting to his spots and then hitting the jumper. Might be KCP, and then the last one, Kyrie Irving.
KCP.
Probably KCP.
KCP.
I think KCP too. So I would say roughly 60% of these we said KCP on. Yeah.
The thing is that like it's not a huge drop off. Even if it is, we're saying KCP is more adept. It doesn't mean that Christian Braun's going to get cooked.
Right.
It's just that there are guys that will cook KCP that wouldn't necessarily cook Christian Braun because of the physical part. Like, I think that, I mean, obviously this remains to be seen, but I do think that Christian Braun has the ability just to be pesky enough to be an annoyance to all these guys to be effective to a point. And I just don't know anyone that will just murder him because they're bigger than him.
And also, we've seen KCP on these big-time matchups way more than Christian Braun, so there's just more data there that we just remember it more. And also, KCP is on the decline. Christian Braun is getting better.
Yeah. I think that these two are just defensively are going to be a lot closer. And like I said, I'm putting my flag down on Christian Braun's going to have a much better year. There are players that I think he is meaningfully worse on. And it's funny when you go through this list, Steph, Chris Paul, Ja Morant, CJ McCollum, those are all bad teams. And then maybe there's some of the ones that you think of him being better against, Ant, even Luka, perhaps even Harden, maybe Booker. Those are the good teams that you would. So it's kind of a weird thing where even if the volume is one thing, you know, the road's probably going to go through Dallas and Minnesota and maybe even Phoenix more so than it's going to go through some of those other teams, New Orleans.
We didn't do Luka, but I feel like they both kind of suck against Luka.
It's Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
Well, that's why, as I was trying to think of, even like Kevin Durant, I was trying to think of who is the matchup that you would most need the guard
Kevin Durant
for.
is Peyton Watson.
Bradley
Luka
Beal.
is Aaron Gordon.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. Does that make you feel better or worse about
I
it?
already feel great, man. In fact, you mentioning Trey Alexander, I was like, I can't believe I forgot about that guy. There's actually a lot to be excited about this next season.
Ooh, well, that's later on in the show. All right, let's take a break. We're going to continue on the defensive talk here, and I'm going to ask, does Denver have their best defensive depth lineup?
Ooh.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Okay. Hey, don't answer yet.
Guys, if you have any roofing needs, home, business, whatever it might be, check out Red Hawk Roofing. These are the people you have to call. Don't be going on Yelp and looking at reviews and getting out the phone book. Red Hawk Roofing is your go-to for all your roofing needs. Quality materials, decades of experience, quick response time. Colorado's best estimators and contractors. The best part is they're also DNVR supporters. They're here at the bar. They're rooting on the Nuggets, the Avs, the Broncos. So, no, these are our people. They're Denver, they're Colorado. Free no obligation roof and property inspections. Free in-depth photo reports for all inspections. With hail season still here, don't be caught in a hailstorm and having your roof get a ton of damage. That costs a lot of money to fix. Get on that ahead of time. Call up Red Hawk Roofing. They'll take care of you. Check out Red Hawk Roofing at redhawkroofing.com. Call 720-771-8921. Tell them DNVR sent you.
I don't have the other one ready. You have to do it because I've
Oh
got
my
something
God,
great
dude.
for Kale. Sorry.
Freaking.
So I had too good of a thing. I got to go to it.
Like
Shady
even when Vote's not here, he's here.
Shady Rays, guys.
Spirit
It
was
felt
up.
like fall a couple days ago, but today it feels like summer again.
No, dude. Look at me. I'm fully autumnal.
Me too.
Look, I'm wearing browns.
You look
and-
very fall. Some good fall
Autumnal.
colors
Do
going
you think
on.
this is autumnal with forest green?
I think we have a nice little color palette
Thank you.
going here.
Look at us, man.
Yeah.
We're always color appropriate.
If you go to shadyrays.com, no matter what type of sunglasses you wear, you're going to find a style on there that you like. Tons of different styles, colors, shapes, sizes. You can get colored sunglasses in the color of your favorite sports team. Nuggets colors, Broncos colors, whatever it might be. They've got hundreds of options to choose from, rated 5 stars by 250 or 300,000 people. Man, people have been really piling in those Shady Rays reviews. Up to 300,000 people have rated them 5 stars. They also have great customer service and customer care. If your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, they have insane protection. Every pair of Shady Rays is backed by their lost or broken replacement policy. So go to shadyrays.com, use the code DNVR for 35% off.
I did this
Polarized
recently.
Sunglasses.
I did this very recently.
35% off polarized sunglasses. Check it out.
All right, we are back here, DNVR Nuggets Podcast. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already. We're doing this 5 times a week, and we are only, 16 days away from Media Day? 2 weeks away.
Early Media Day this year.
Early Media Day.
Because we're going to...
Well, we is doing some work there. The Nuggets are going to Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
Real quick before we get into this, so you are our resident hunter versus hunted expert.
I'll carry that title. Sure.
Our favorite coach, Joey Mazz. Old Joey Mazz had a great hunter hunted.
My guy.
This guy's so bad that I actually like him.
No, you're going to like him.
Have you seen this, Eric? Have you seen this yet? Joey Mazz was asked about defending the title. And he says the phrase defending a title is a very passive-aggressive term. If you look at the animal kingdom, we're off to such a good start.
Maybe he watched our show with Hunter Tyson.
Kingdom, some of the strongest animals don't defend. They're the most aggressive, and they attack the most.
God, I love Joe Mazzulla.
This is not a deep quote at all.
He's so good.
It's so good, though.
I mean, I had something to say. I'm gonna swallow.
No.
I don't know if the Boston Celtics are the one that should be talking about how the animal kingdom operates with the most dominant, getting the most mates and things like that. That's like, that's not the right direction. That ended up actually costing you a coach acting like the animal kingdom.
Do you know? Can I tell you a real tangent? This is a summer tangent. Back my previous 2 or 3 previous lives ago, I used to write, try to be a Hollywood screenwriter.
Yeah.
I wrote my favorite thing I've ever written is a spec script for South Park about this very thing. It's very good, but anyway, go on.
Well, just anyway,
cooking.
Silverback Gorillas would be canceled immediately.
They would be canceled and no Joey Mazz. So, as you're our expert on it, do you agree with the sentiment?
I like this better than Hunter versus Hunted.
Yeah.
It's a good, you don't become now the hunted. It's
Maybe,
I'm still on the hunt.
Maybe he saw the Nuggets try to deploy the Hunter Hunted strategy last year and it not work out, and he was like, I got to think of something else.
Yeah,
You know what? Actually, we need to. This would be we might lose our credential if we do something this dumb and deliberate. But we should give Brendan Vogt $100 if he asked Jamal Murray at Media Day about this very, last year was a lot of talk about hunter versus hunted, but Joe Mazzulla makes a good point that some animals are always the hunter.
Dude, I actually have not. I mean, you just don't think about cliches that often. Hunter versus hunted, exquisitely cliche.
Yeah.
But Joe Mazz is right.
He's
man.
right.
Like, you don't just sit, if you're involved in the deadliest game, hunting man.
You're a sitting duck.
You don't just hope I don't
You're
get
just
shot.
waiting
You
for the hunter.
You break into the house and you make it happen. You hunt.
Yeah.
Always.
Wow.
Maybe on tomorrow's show, me and D-Line will just come up with different Hunter versus Hunted metaphors.
This might be a Friday show as we come up with potential cliches for the Nuggets season this
The
year.
Hunger Games is hunter versus hunted. What happens? You
Yeah.
got to turn it around back on the other people. You don't just sit around waiting to hopefully not get
I
shot.
tell you, Friday we have to do it. We have to think of cliches for the Denver Nuggets to define their season.
I like it.
That's it.
Yeah.
We might
Mile high basketball. Oh,
Dude,
they
there's so
use
many
that one.
sports cliches are the most hilarious thing. Again, NFL football corner here. I love you're
football.
unable.
We've lost.
Big
It's
football.
impossible. It's impossible.
Another football story has hit D-line.
It's also could be basketball. You hear this all the time, but it's impossible to say they just played a lot better in the second half. You have to be like, well, it was a tale of two halves.
It was a tale of two halves.
What a two halves. Yeah. Gather around, children. Let me tell you the tale of two halves.
That's a great one.
So good.
So stupid.
Best defensive lineup. So I was sitting here thinking, there's a chance the Nuggets are a little worse offensively this year and a little better defensively. I think that's entirely possible. But what I really feel confident about is if you throw out a lineup that has Murray and Jokic and you flank them with Project Dynasty, a.k.a. Christian Braun, Peyton Watson, and then Aaron Gordon, That's three, not just great defenders. KCP was a great defender. That was a nice death lineup. But it's also three beasts. You're talking about big dudes. That's a really big lineup. And I think that lineup might be the single best, or has a chance to be, the single best five-man defensive lineup of the Jokic era. What do you think?
I think it definitely has a case for it. I feel like people have forgotten a little bit about just how good of a defender Peyton Watson is. Like, if you're just comparing one-to-one, Peyton Watson to this guy, Peyton Watson to that guy, he probably is just a top, I don't know, just ballparking at 20 individual defender maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. So, yeah.
I mean, he got 5 blocks in a single game, which was, and they weren't lucky. They weren't rebound yourself, rebound.
Those were 5 convincing blocks.
And no, it is. I mean, the entire offseason, this offseason has been the first time where it feels like you have to remind everybody how good the Nuggets are. You really just can't. People just can't shake the last vision they have of them. And so it's you have to re-indoctrinate them to the idea that this team is actually stacked. Peyton Watson is incredible. He's an incredible defender. It's
Peyton Watson is the type of defender every team desperately wants to have.
Which is why Calvin Booth drafted him after he scored 2 points a game in his collegiate career and after one season. He just has the body type and is elite in ways that you cannot coach and you cannot do anything to improve. You're given it.
Yeah. He's just a game changer. And I think over a summer we can forget that.
What I think is underrated, though, about defense is physical advantage. I mean, so much. Think about last year. Why is Anthony Edwards such a good defender in the playoffs against Jamal? And part of it says he's more athletic,
he's tall,
quicker, taller, and was way stronger.
Yeah.
And Murray.
Oh, Anthony Edwards.
He just was way stronger.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a
way
level of
athletic.
especially when you get to the postseason, when for whatever reason the rule book changes, you get to the playoffs, and all of a sudden you're allowed a level of physicality. Christian Braun might be a guy that you throw Aaron Gordon and Christian Braun out there. You go up against Luka Doncic, and it's okay, those two guys are both on the court, and Luka's just exhausted because he has two real physical guys wrestling him the whole time. I think that adds up.
Think of the insanity of what you let in with is that the NBA as an organization feels that the way to make regular season games in February more exciting is with more free throws.
Yep.
That's their plan. They are very able to turn the whistle off very easily, but they're no, we just got people like free throws. That's what they're into.
What led SportsCenter? 73 points from Karl Anthony Towns. Oh my goodness! Is this the greatest shooting big man of all time?
So stupid.
They love
it.
My
they
guy,
just
Karl
want more
Towns.
scoring, but they don't realize it comes via free throws.
The physicality part, though, I think is an underrated thing. I mean, Calvin Booth, we knew his vision was to just get big players across the board, and he didn't just get tall. And actually, there's been some numbers on this lately that length is becoming overrated in defense. Girth is becoming the thing that is actually really impactful.
I love how we go through these phases, man. These phases are great.
We're out on length. We're into girth.
A lot of GMs prefer the girth to the length.
Wow. Can we get David Roddy, Colorado State's own?
Dude, it's my era.
Girth.
It's my era.
Do you disagree? I mean, Lou Dort, right? Dylan Brooks. A lot of your good defenders are girthier than they are long.
Right. And to your point about the playoffs, man, the strong and physical defenders are the ones that really stand out.
Yeah,
in
girth
that type of
eventually gets it done.
Yeah.
Always.
Your girth factor is very important.
Length rarely gets it done. Girth always gets the job done.
Is there... So Murray, Jokic, now let's think about that lineup offensively. Murray, Jokic, and you have Christian, Peyton, Aaron Gordon. Not exactly a spacing lineup. So is this a lineup we'll even ever see? Can you make this viable?
Murray, Jokic, Christian. So you got 4 starters and Peyton Watson?
Correct.
So yeah, we'll see it.
But Michael Porter, obviously a very important floor spacer, so you're replacing him with Peyton Watson.
Right. I think we'll see it for sure. I mean, there's a chance you could close a game or two with that. Just if you're protecting a lead and you need a more defensive first guy at the 3, I could absolutely see them closing a game like that.
What happens is you probably just get a lot of wide open shots for Peyton Watson and Christian Braun, and it just comes down to you got to make a few of them because that lineup will get stops. It'll be hard to score on, and you're probably not going to get the Jokic Murray 2-man game that just opens up layups
because the defense is just going to sink the floor and collapse on all that.
But you probably do generate the type of wide open shots that are not hurried. It's okay, ball's coming to the corner, Christian. You got to set your feet and get it up, and we got to make it. What happened, D-line?
Also,
I mean, obviously
Jokic can probably just shoot it also.
Obviously,
from
the
anywhere.
chat is very caught up in the girth conversation. I feel like we should start calling Harrison girth because that's what they call it in Phoenix. That's what they call
girthy boy.
That's what they call.
Please don't call me
They
that.
call Gerald girth.
Please.
We just start calling Harrison girth.
I will
also.
not respond to that.
That would be
I mean, hold
amazing.
on a second though. Drew Holiday,
Yeah,
girth,
a lot of girth.
Blue Dort.
Girth.
This is the thing. A lot of your
Girth.
top defenders, I'm saying it, they really do have the
Christian
girth.
Braun.
Christian Brown.
He's got some girth.
Nikola Jokic,
Girth.
girth king,
part of what makes him so good.
the
Yeah.
girth king,
The girth king.
Peyton Watson doesn't have girth.
girthless.
But that's okay.
Is there
Girthless.
any other defensive combo you can think of here? Because I do worry about the spacing there, but we'll see. But is there another defensive ace lineup that you think they could roll out?
Well, I mean, it's not like there are any other good defenders on the roster, so probably not.
Yeah, we'll see. There's not. I mean, there's really only one target on this team now. and
Well,
it's
I
Jamal.
mean, Zeke Naji.
You're gonna, yeah. I mean, come on.
Should we do this again?
I guess you're right.
I'm telling you, I'm buying a little
are
Zeke
you
stock.
you're planting another
No,
flag.
I'm not planting a flag there, but I am buying stock. It's so low.
Oh yeah, you can have
actually-
it for a penny.
Yeah, well, you could.
It's a penny stock.
Sometimes they'll just throw it like you buy a pack of cigarettes and they're like, here's some Zeke
Here's some
stock.
girth.
Yeah, just little extra. Let's take a break. On the other side, Trey Alexander now becomes a question, and not just Trey. Hunter Tyson. What is the path for those guys to get on the court this year? Is it not as hard as you might think?
For all your flooring needs, check out Empire today. We had some flooring needs in this very studio. We needed a new floor. And sure enough, Empire today delivered. It's beautiful. It was installed a while ago. And, it still looks great. Still looks amazing.
We specified that this specific floor takes quite a beating from producers dragging chairs on and off of it. Our last floor got absolutely scratched to hell.
Yeah.
So they listened to our needs and they gave us the right product. And now, look at us.
We might never need a new floor. Empire today, they have a lot of great tools to help you choose the best floor. They have a virtual floor designer, so you can see how the floors will look in your home, your office, wherever it is, whatever room it is, before you actually put them in. They're great at what they do. They're the best in the business. You can schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners to this show, you can get $350 off when you use the promo code DNVR. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/DNVR for details.
We're also coming to you live from the Toyota Lounge because, of course, Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. And man, am I so proud to be able to say that because I love this automaker. I drive one personally, the Highlander, taking it up to the mountains, as I've mentioned before. Used to own a RAV4, took it up to the mountains on many great adventures. And on top of that, they offer 17 models with all-wheel drive. This is why I say they're the unofficial vehicle of Colorado, because when you're in Colorado, you need all-wheel drive. You can't have some of these cars that are just like ice skates, out there whenever it snows just a tiny little bit.
I'm convinced my first car was a one-wheel drive. I spun out all the planes.
There's nothing worse than spinning out. That's actually a horrifying. I've had it twice. I have spun out on a road before. Neither
yes.
time did I get in a wreck, though. That's how good I am at spinning out. But 17 models available with all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, like the Epic 4Runner, which is again
Epic.
probably the most unofficial vehicle of Colorado. That's like the
I'd
one.
say so.
If you're ever trying to like blend into Colorado, like just pick up a 4Runner.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's what.
Drink break brew.
If we open up
Put a little
the
girth on.
Portland version of this and they have Blarado,
Blarado.
he will show up in the
Oh,
4Runner.
yeah, dude. Like,
That's
for
definitely
sure.
what would
Would
happen.
it be the lamer version of the 4Runner?
No, of course. So whether you're conquering off-road trails or hauling the weight around the world, there's a Toyota truck that is just right for you, including that all-new 2024 Toyota Tacoma. We got a bunch of Tacomas in the parking lot, by the way. You know that? A lot of people at this company drive the Tacoma. Why? We're a Colorado company. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. Auto Nation Toyota in Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, that's mine, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson's Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of
Okay,
the
there you
Denver
go.
Nuggets, the official vehicle. of
I was
DNVR.
ready.
You were ready, man. My guy,
was
man.
ready.
Always has my back. We can't high five, though. Back here, segment 3. Trey Alexander had himself a nice little summer league. Undrafted player on a two-way contract, so Nuggets control his rights. You know, he reminds me a lot of Jamal. That's been a lot of, the talk is that his game, he's not exactly speedy. Same as Jamal, he's not exactly speedy, but he's very smooth, has a nice jumper, good pick and roll player. So the question becomes, can he get on the court? What's the path? And let me give you some numbers, you guys. Peyton Watson played 186 minutes in his rookie season. Davon Reed played 315. That gives you sort of a reference point for, even in this era, the competitive championship trying to win era. That's 180 to 315 seems to be the number. But I look at it and I go, I feel like he could get on the court this year. Denver needs shooting. They need ball handling. And they're pretty thin at guard. They just don't have a lot of guards. So do you think he's going to play more than Davon and Peyton Watson's rookie year, even though he's on a two-way?
I'll say yes. And it's because of the reasons you laid out. They don't have a lot of guards.
Yep.
They have 4 guards that that are playable, really. Not counting Trey Alexander for this. Murray, Christian Braun, Russell Westbrook, Julian Strawther. Only 2 of those guys you can classify as ball handlers, really. Jamal Murray and Russell Westbrook. So they need more ball handling. They need more guard play. And look, we know how the Nuggets regular season is going to go. I'm sure Jamal Murray will get a couple knick-knack injuries here and there. I'm sure he'll need a couple games off. They'll need another ball handler. And like we know, Mike Malone isn't afraid to play another guy on a 2-way contract. And just with how Trey Alexander looked at Summer League, with what Mike Malone's already said about him, he seems to be a fan, seems to have some belief in him. I can definitely see him playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long season, and you'd be surprised. Like, most people can get some minutes. Will he play more? I don't know. I mean, like, you hope not, honestly, because that would signal probably that something went wrong. But
or that they're taking a different approach to the regular season.
It's possible. He did impress in Summer League, but again, it's like it's really hard to quantify that. Like, we've been very fooled before by Summer League performances in both directions. But I was really impressed by him, and with his poise more than anything, which is what people generally lack when they try to make that leap. But I mean, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility.
Well, here comes I think he can play. Again, Denver needs shooting. And, like, if you get to a point where it's just... So here's what's weird about him. He could get into the rotation from a guard injury, but he might also get into the rotation because of a shooting injury. And they're just like, well, we don't have shooters, so we're going to have to go to a 3-guard lineup because we just need... There's no other combo we can throw out there that has shooters on the floor. He can get there. But here's the one question. It's week 1 of the season, and there's been an injury to somebody in the guard rotation. Most importantly, a point guard.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. It's just a 1-gamer, maybe a 2-gamer. Who gets the call up? Pickett or Trey Alexander?
No question. Alexander, no question.
Why?
Because Michael Malone doesn't like Pickett. He doesn't like him.
We do know that.
Not only that, Pickett looked horrible.
He did.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I just think that they're out on him. I don't know.
So last year it was Gillespie in that role. But the thing about Colin Gillespie was he was here for a year. Even though he was injured.
Great point.
Even though he was
in the system.
He was in the system for a year. That definitely gave Michael Malone a lot of confidence to go to him. Now, look, I might agree with D-Line. I might say Alexander because, like, you can just read the writing on the wall. It doesn't seem like Jalen Pickett is a part of this right now.
Yeah.
Hasn't really been in Denver that much over the summer, it seems like. Just doesn't seem real connected with the team.
Also just feels like his
and
game...
Trey Alexander just looks like the better player also.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem... Like, Pickett just doesn't... Like, his game is not translating. It's just not. Like, he's not a bully in this league. He can't play bully ball.
Yeah.
It's
his skill is girth, but he's not that girthy.
He does have girth.
Dude. It's true.
Not nearly girthy enough.
I think that I'm girthier than him.
I think you might be.
I do believe that. I think that I would be difficult for him to move.
So here's the thing is he's a second-round pick, Jalen Pickett is. He's not Zeke Naji, who Zeke Naji had several years to kind of given a chance. And I do think Pickett has had 2 years. It's gone downward. He's actually a worse player now, it seems, than he was 2 years ago, at least with how he performs with Denver. And I just don't think you need to give that much runway to second-round picks. Second-round picks are lotto tickets. Most aren't going to hit. And it's like, we tried, it didn't work out. You move on. So to me, it makes sense. But here's one thing I will say, and I hate to keep coming back to this note. and I'm sure the Nuggets are annoyed of us always coming back to this note. If I were Michael Malone and I was feeling a little petty for whatever reason, I might be like, well, you didn't like when I played Colin last year as a 2A, so I'm not doing it this year. I'm throwing Pickett out there to the Wolves, and we just lost 3 in a row because you didn't like it when I did it last year. It would almost be a thing you could do, just of a like, you want me to play our guys? I'm playing our guys now.
Of course.
I don't think they're that petty, but I could see it.
If you were to believe in Jalen Pickett, it's like you believe that he can be, the table setter and a bit of the fulcrum and, the hub a little bit of what a second unit offensive lineup can do. And, he can pass guys open. He can get into the lane a little bit and, make a read to get a guy an open shot. But the Nuggets just might need just more offensive juice individually if they need a guy to step up in that role. And you can just put Trey Alexander out there, and he can maybe go out there and just get you a bucket.
Yeah.
I don't know if Pickett can.
I was the Pickett guy, and I just think the train has sailed for him. There's no
train has left the station.
The train has sailed off into the distance, so there's no more.
It's bad. If your train is sailing, that means it's at the bottom of the ocean.
So that's where I think that's headed. And by the way, I also just think that Trey Alexander could be a guy that is in a good spot where it's like, I think you're in trouble if you have to play him a bunch. But this scenario, a guy rolled his ankle, it's not bad, but he does need a couple games off. It's a good spot to be like, hey, go out there, man, and you're not going to play. You're going to play 10, 12 minutes,
Totally.
but we need shooting. So at the very least, just knock down your open threes. We need someone to bring the ball up and throw it to Nikola. You can handle pressure ball, that well enough and get it to him, and now you're just a floor spacer. Yeah. So to me, I actually think he's in a decent spot to be. Like, even Colin Gillespie last year needed to be a point guard. You couldn't really put him in another role. Trey Alexander, I think you could.
He's a little more versatile.
And you could throw him out there with a lineup that's just like, hey, dribble the ball up the court, get it to Yoke, and just go to the corner.
Yep.
And be an off-ball player, and he's productive enough at that to get his speed down.
Yeah. Look, my biggest hope for this season when it comes to the roster and the rotations is just that Michael Malone plays more of the roster. That's my biggest hope. It's not, I'm not like hinged on the rotations and staggering and whatnot. I just hope throughout the season, throughout the 82-game regular season, he plays the full roster. He gives Trey Alexander some run. He gives Hunter Tyson some run.
Yeah.
I just hope we see everybody because that will help conserve, your key guys more throughout the regular season and for the playoffs. That's my biggest hope. So with that, it would mean Trey Alexander gets some run.
My last question, and this one actually, Matt Moore asked it earlier in the week up over on Locked On Nuggets, but I thought it was a great one. More minutes, Trey Alexander or a player not currently on the Denver Nuggets roster? And I'll give you some more numbers here. Thomas Bryant played 205 minutes. Reggie Jackson played 319 minutes in their post-trade deadline deal minutes. So that is more than Peyton Watson played. So who plays more, Trey or some player that the Nuggets add at some point?
Well, that would mean a trade, a
trade,
a pickup in the middle of the. What's it? Instead of Trey?
Yeah, he made a nice little pun. He channeled his inner RG.
He just said the word slower.
Yeah. You actually couldn't tell if I was or not,
yeah,
really?
It was too good of a pun.
I only knew it was a pun because he started laughing himself. But I would think that it's much more likely that Trey Alexander, because they like him, and, it's like... The only thing I could see is like if they decide that their bench unit needs more, like a more traditional 5, or there's like somebody in like that 4-5 range, they don't like what they have. But I do think...
Or a point guard. Yeah. I mean, it literally could just come down to Russell Westbrook didn't work halfway through the year. Yeah. We cut him or trade him.
That would be wild. That would be wild.
I mean, Isaiah Thomas, that was the scenario.
Yeah, but like Isaiah Thomas was like injured. And they brought him in just like on a flyer. This is like they are committing to Russell Westbrook, even though it's a vet minimum.
It could even be something like that. Russell Westbrook is injured, and
yes.
And they have to bring in a point guard.
I think it is more likely that it's Trey Alexander. I do.
Okay.
I think it's going to be somebody else.
Ooh.
I think there will be a trade this season. Absolutely.
And the player they bring in is like an every night, 15 minutes a game, and from trade deadline on, that adds up to
it
more.
could just honestly be who did we just get rid of? The Holiday brother. I can't.
Justin.
Yeah, it's just Justin Holiday again.
Yeah, well, he would definitely play more. Yeah, I'd say it's somebody else. But a scenario I've thought about is, the Nuggets had that injury exception that they applied for and got for Deron Holmes. It's worth a very little amount of money. It's like 1 point something million. You can't even sign like a veteran minimum guy with it. But you could convert Trey Alexander's contract with it later in the season, I think.
I think this makes a lot of sense.
So that's just something I've thought about.
That's a buyout of Pickett or a trade for nothing Pickett move.
And
then
I think you'd be able to use the injury exception to convert Trey Alexander if you want.
Not only do I love this and think that it's a real possibility, but I am now going to move. I was going to say player not to be named on the roster. I'm going to take Trey Alexander because I wonder if that's one of the conversations behind the scenes of, hey, we need to give him throughout the course of the season 350 minutes, not a ton, but a little bit more than what we saw from Colin Gillespie even last year. Give him that many so we know by March whether we need to do this maneuvering. So we have him in the playoff rotation if needed.
I agree. I think that's definitely something they might consider. It also does seem like the Nuggets could be primed for a trade, though.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You've got Zeke Naji. You've got Hunter Tyson. You've got a couple picks to work with.
Yeah.
That are far out, but
it's a good
I
thought.
don't know.
All right, let's take our final break. On the other side, I want to ask the same question, less likely, but for Hunter Tyson. Is it possible Hunter Tyson has a path? We'll examine how that would be.
If you need help with hiring, check out Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. If you've ever hired people, it takes a lot of time. You got to find them, interview, follow up, scheduling. Let Indeed make that process so much easier. You can ditch all the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to recent Indeed survey data. So if you need help with hiring, listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/AllCity. Just go to Indeed.com/AllCity right now to support our show. Tell them you heard about them on DNVR. Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Also want to tell you guys about our favorite convenience store, Circle K.
Oh, hell yeah.
Tell you about it and about their great program, the Inner Circle Rewards program. Here's what's fun. If some people, and this is like a guy move, I would say, you go to wherever it is you shop and you never sign up for any of the rewards program and you just pay way more than you need to.
Forever.
Well, why would you do that for gas? Like, I'll just stop at whatever one is, this one, this one, then this one.
Yeah.
Guess what? If you sign up for the Inner Circle Rewards program, here's all it takes. You download the app and you enter your email and phone. It's not like they're tracking your social security number and your every movement, right?
No, leave that up to TikTok.
That would be a red flag if they ask for your social.
You are funny. People are like, I just don't like giving out my information. I'm just on TikTok and every other app.
Didn't every human's social security number just get leaked out?
Maybe it happens. I don't know. All you have to do, enter email and phone number, and here's what you get. 25 cents off per gallon on your next 5 fill-ups.
That's big.
That's a big time deal. You also get your first 5 Polar Pops for free. Do you want to know, for those of you that have kids know this truth, you take your kid to Disneyland, that's a 10 out of 10 experience. Mm-hmm. If you get them a Polar Pop, 9.5 out of 10 experience.
I think that's a 12 out of 10.
Take them to Circle K.
No, I'm just saying you can spend all the money to fly them to Disney World, or you could just go sign up for the Inner City Rewards program, and you get 5 free Polar Pops. You also get a whole bunch of other things. They have great snacks. They have great deals. And like I said, you download the app, and you're always going to save on everything there. So right now, download the Circle K app and sign for Inner Circle for exclusive offers. New offers, purchase clubs, and sweepstakes are uploaded weekly.
Hell
There you go.
They've got good hot dogs. Girthy.
They have girthy hot dogs there? Man.
Taquitos.
Taquitos.
Some girth on those.
A little bit.
Final segment here. We just talked about Trey Alexander getting on the court, but there is yet another young player, and that is one Hunter Tyson. Deron Holmes.
The Hunter.
Deron Holmes,
I
obviously
literally
out for
want
the
a
year.
hot dog now. I'm starving.
You did that to yourself.
I'm like literally dreaming of a hot
Right
dog.
down the street. Hunter Tyson's a shooter. They
Yeah.
need shooting. I don't know if he's a Malone guy, and there are other options there. But when we asked yesterday about Zeke Naji, you both said he's not playing. Zeke Naji, that train has also sailed. He's on the same train out the door as Jalen Pickett. So maybe that means he's really only competing with Vlatko Čančar for minutes in the rotation. Is there a path that he gets on the court?
Could he play some of the Justin Holiday type of role?
Ooh.
That's probably the case for Hunter Tyson because they don't have a guy, a wing off the bench, like Justin Holiday this season. Hunter Tyson's the closest guy they have to that. Look, I thought last year they should have given him some run.
Yeah.
And again, my thing heading into this year is I want to play the entire roster. I want Hunter Tyson to get a run in the rotation. I want him to get 10 games. All right, here we go. He can definitely help. He can shoot it. He shot it well in the G League last year. He plays hard. Now, he's not really the most polished guy. He's going to have to take some L's for sure. Like he's going to have to figure out the NBA game and stuff.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to see what he has. And just from a shooting perspective, they need guys to make threes, and he can shoot it.
Yeah, I'm much less bullish on Hunter this year than I was last year.
Really?
Yeah, I am. I don't know. Like again, it's just unfortunately, like I am, like the rest of us, a prisoner of the last thing I saw, and I just he made really egregious errors in summer league, mostly defensively.
Yeah, he's not a great defender right now.
No, he got and he didn't score very well either. He kind of like faded into the just a guy world where in the season past he rose up, which is why again, I'll say this a million times, this is absolute fool's gold to try to find any real analysis coming from that like little exhibition time. But I was surprised. I really was surprised. And I'm I don't know. My faith was shaken. So I'm on a strict, I got to see it with Hunter, but I agree with your premise is that how are we going to see it if he doesn't get any opportunities? And I do think that you're right about the idea that the Denver Nuggets really need to not manage their lineup like they're in the playoffs for 82 games. Like they can't just worry about playing 9 guys or whatever, just like getting the most out of their best guys all the time. They really have to be. And I have every faith that they will because that is the type of coach that Michael Malone is. He is make a mistake 1,000 times to make sure it's a mistake, and then he'll fix it, And so I think it's clear to him and every single person that watched the Nuggets or has talked about them every day since the playoffs ended that was the real issue is the longevity and the girth,
I think I'm going to say that he's going to play more than you guys think, and the reason is not because I think it's more just when you go through the roster, there's not that many guys. I mean, their Denver roster honestly has a bunch of guys that are injured or not going to play.
This is how it works, though. Like it goes so quick from like we are so deep to we have no one, and it's like it just takes one guy playing bad for a night. You're like we have no one, and then he plays good. We're like deepest team in the league.
Well, there's 15 guys, and one of them is Duran Holmes, so he's out. That automatically cancels one out. And another one is Jalen Pickett, who I think is pretty much out.
Yep.
So you're really talking about 13 guys. You're not. That's like an injury, or that's only a handful of injuries, or even just rest nights before he gets in. And when you look at it, Braxton Key last year played 60 minutes, more than Jay Huff, which was also in turn somehow more than Hunter Tyson. Played fewer than Jay Huff and Braxton Key, which I think was Malone's. And actually, when you look at this, does it seem deliberate? Jay Huff 49, Hunter Tyson 48, almost like he was sending a message of like, our third two-way guy is going to play more than the guy you.
And I don't think any of those minutes were real minutes.
Yeah,
every single one was garbage time.
Yeah, probably. But even when you get to Pickett 122, Colin Gillespie 225, and DeAndre Jordan 396, I look at that and I go, Denver didn't have anybody. I guess Vlatko Čančar was out for the year, so they did have one. But I look at it this year and I go, they do need shooting, and they are even more thin than they were last year. I just think he's going to play 130, 140 minutes, of which half might actually be real. And that's not a lot of games. That's probably 5, 6, 7 games. But I think he has a chance to play. And then how do you grow above that? Well, one, you play well in those minutes.
Of course.
And then two, you shoot the ball well.
Sure.
And if he has to go to the G League again, do you think he'll be in the G League? Will he play, or will he stay with the team all year?
He played like every game in the G League last year, so I don't really see the need to send him down there again.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like where he hadn't been playing for a while, so they send him down there to stay in shape kind of thing.
Dude, the chat is ruined from
Just girth everywhere.
It's just
Just to warn you guys, we're as stuck with girth as we are mukbang. Like, it's not going anywhere.
we can't.
Like,
The Suns literally did this exact thing. We cannot claim girth.
We don't want that. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's
it's
a
not
curse.
going
I'm telling you, Chad. Just
Have you
know.
guys seen Hunter Tyson's thighs lately?
Oh my God, get lost.
Does he have girth?
Girthy thighs, man.
You did sit next to him on our show.
I'm telling you. It's girth day.
Every day is
But
girth
could,
day.
Every day
could
is-
Hunter
every day is girth day.
Tyson could Hunter Tyson do the same thing Justin Holiday did last season? I don't think that's crazy.
Well, he played like a lot. He played 862 minutes.
I
Like, I
know.
don't think. Could he do it in terms of just be out on the court?
But
Probably
did,
not.
did we
honestly,
think
probably
Justin
not.
Holiday was going to play that much?
No.
No.
It would be wild if Hunter Tyson was a Malone guy. And
I
like,
just
gets
think
out there and he-
that type of role, that's Hunter Tyson's role.
we're not shooting.
the Justin Holiday role.
We just had a quarter where we scored 8 points because nobody could make a three. So, do you know what, Hunter? Get out there. We need somebody to space the floor.
The difference is Michael Malone trusted Justin Holiday
Yeah.
in every situation. He definitely does not trust Hunter Tyson
At
yet.
least, at least he didn't. We'll see.
Man, I can't believe this is like such a classic offseason. I'm like, you know what? Murray's going to take it seriously this year, and Malone's going to go deeper into his bench.
I know. And then it turns out we don't have control over either of those.
Malone is, nobody changes, and then we're going to have the exact same years we always
Do
have.
me, save me.
But what about So save me? Let's go deep into the chat here, shall we?
Oh my God, dude. Let's go wide into the
Cedric
chat.
Exquisite.
What?
With 3 X's. If we still had KCP, what tier are we? Let me know. No
Same as last
Kale,
year.
Shut Up and Take My Money is officially on its way as another brand of mine. P.S. Eric, I got a raise.
That means we got a raise.
Well, the last part of that here was he actually asked a question
Hey,
here, right?
congratulations.
Oh, what tier? I think they're in a higher tier. I think they're in the inner circle contenders as opposed to the
They're in-
legitimate contenders.
They're getting 25 cents off a
challengers.
Are they
gallon.
in Boston's tier?
Yeah, that's if they have
Okay.
KCP, I think they are, and so they're not. That's why some people are like, somebody in the chat was like, because you guys won't hold them accountable, guys. How many times do I have to say it? I
love
think they
it.
should have brought back KCP. It was a
I love-
mistake. They're worse because of it. What do you want?
We love holding people
I
accountable.
love the notion of holding people accountable.
Yeah.
Like it's like so. I love the idea that it's like all that back to NFL hot NFL talk. That wide receiver couldn't catch the ball. Why would I hold him accountable? He's like all just skating by, like no one noticed I didn't catch that ball. This is amazing.
You know the funny thing is, people,
Guys, nobody held me accountable.
Yeah, dude. They're like all they think they can go out there and lose every game and no one will hold them accountable.
people would be surprised to hear this, but like we say this our real honest opinions on the show, including telling we think that was a mistake, we think this is a mistake, whatever. But also, you guys would be pleased to know, I actually say that to their faces too. Like, when we have casual conversations, I'll be like, "Yeah, I personally don't think that." Like, and guess what? They're human beings, and it's just a conversation.
I
So-
go, Adam, thanks for holding me accountable. I appreciate that. Everyone needs an
Why
accountability.
are you holding me accountable right now?
Everyone needs an accountability buddy here in the NBA. And if not for you, Adam Mares, asking why I didn't try hard, I wouldn't. I just wouldn't do it.
All right, let's hold the chat accountable.
Yeah, chat, we're holding you accountable for these girth puns.
Actually, somebody is holding you accountable here. Look at this.
What?
Jacob Payer, are DNVR Nuggets stickers ever coming back?
Hey, can somebody hold our art director accountable?
You know, this is what it takes. This is what it takes.
Prime example of holding somebody accountable.
You hold somebody accountable, they do their job.
All
you
we
don't.
want to do is be held accountable.
Is that it? Did we not want to do the other one? Is it weird?
Cedric, KCP better than Brown. If it's CB or Pwat, who y'all got?
What? I can't.
In a
I
bare
prefer-
knuckles cage match?
As a player, I think probably. Man, Pwat has a much higher ceiling, but I would bet on the certainty of Christian Braun to be a better player at the end of the day.
This year
that's probably
and
right.
more of a ready need starting shooting guard adds to Christian Braun. But, it might be the last year of that. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Everybody, great little Tuesday show, fellas.
Fun
Adam,
show.
Adam. We still have 45 seconds. I got to hold you accountable here. We got to go the full hour.
Oh, man.
You can't just end it whenever you want. Someone's going to
man.
hold you accountable.
Oh, yeah. Did you see the mukbang guy lost 300 pounds?
Well, he didn't lose 300 pounds. He's a sociopath, and no one should pay attention to him.
Wait, I don't know any of this
There's a
story.
guy
I was
named,
caught
you know
on
what?
this
Go
day.
online. Go online.
Guy.
Go online
You know
one
what?
time.
He
We'll
was
see you guys
huge,
tomorrow. Hit
and
that
then he
like button
lost
on
a
the way
lot
out.
of weight.